A lot of people seem to have this huge hang-up about evolution, and they have this mental block against understanding how it actually works. And these are the sort of people who scoff at the fact that there are no such thing as crocoducks and that there are no transitional species, as they call it, and that dogs surely never give birth to cats. And in order to address that sort of ignorance, that sort of lack of understanding, I wrote a little poem. I wrote it about 4 years ago, and it's called The Sands of Time, and it goes like this. A grain of sand so minuscule can hardly seem to matter. You drop them down, and one by one, they only seem to scatter. So as you keep the habit up, without a rest or sleep, you'll find that after a few days, you have made a little heap. Don't let that detract you though. You've only just begun. Who thought that dropping grains of sand could be tremendous fun? It may take more than a few days, but after quite a while, you'll realize the little heap has grown into a pile. You can't stop there now. Carry on. Your task has only just begun. Keep on dropping grain on grain, and never mind fatigue and pain. As you go on relentlessly, through sheer effort of will, you note that on one sunny day, you've built a lovely hill. All this work took many years, and boy do you feel rough, but now you've got as far as this. A hill is not enough. Accustomed as you are to this, now ain't the time to stop. You keep on finding grains of sand, and every one you drop. Centuries have passed you by, you really did your best, and you have built an edifice that dwarfs Mount Everest. You take a look with joyous pride of all you have achieved, and now the work is fully done, you don't feel half relieved. Then suddenly it dawns on you and shatters your illusion. There's something wrong. Your happiness dissolves into confusion. You look at what you've done so far, and you just can't deny it. You realize that actually you never could have done it. You see, you had a little heap, but now your mountain's soaring, and that is impossible, we cannot keep ignoring. The problem is that if a heap is to become a mountain peak, there must be a transition point, and that's the point that we must seek. That's when we realize the truth that what we thought must be insane. If you add one grain to a heap it will remain. Conversely, if a mountain peak is robbed of just one grain of sand, it won't make any difference. The mighty mountain will still stand. So even though the mountain's there, as mentioned in this sonnet, if grain by grain you build it up, you simply can't have done it. Now that, of course, is just absurd. Our eyes did not deceive us, and it was done, despite the fact that you cannot believe it. So where's the tripwire in your mind that causes such mistake? To think something's impossible, however long it takes. What's wrong, my friends, is that you think that words are absolute. One either is or one is not, and that I will refute. One only uses words like peak or pile or heap or hill if talking in a woolly sense, in concepts, if you will. So when you say you saw a hill, I do know what you've seen, despite the fact that I can't really pinpoint what you mean. It doesn't really matter when we're talking every day that you can't absolutely know exactly what I say. It's only in a case like this when it will become clear that words are simply not enough to describe what is here. Therefore we accept that, yes, a mountain it became, although there was no single grain deciding all the same. It's just that somewhere in between a mountain and a hill, it all gets very complicated, fuzzy, if you will. And what is true for grains of sand is true for genes as well. Each change is rather minuscule, but over time they swell. There is no point in history at which an ape called Fran gave birth to little Adam, who became the first of man. Just like a hill will stay a hill when you add grains you find, an animal will always produce offspring of its kind. It's only over deepest time that change accumulates, and monkey-like ancestral forms transform into primates. The next time you decide to say, Darwin is poppycock, please be so kind and take your gob and stuff it with a sock. Because if you insist that life was put here by a god, you'll only show us that you are rather an idiot.